Chapter 276, Insatiable Desire. Daddy, did Mommy leave again? Hearing the sound of the door opening, the son opened the bedroom door and ran out. Mommy went to take care of Yue Xia. Play a bit more, then take a bath and go to bed. Fang Hao was feeling quite depressed. His ex-wife's sudden visit made him realize that this peaceful little nest was not as calm as he thought. Since his ex-wife knew about this residence, she could come over anytime. Her arrival also revealed another side of her. She was shameless and had strong desires. Now that Ling Tian was getting older and had no shortage of women, how could he satisfy his ex-wife's desires? A woman like her would definitely cheat to fulfill her desires. Such a woman must be kept away. Fang Hao's mind was in a mess, but it was also filled with the flames of revenge. Would his ex-wife tell Yang Wenjin about the money-taking incident? And how would Yang Wenjin escalate the situation? Force me to resign? That's impossible. I want to stay at Provincial People's Hospital, and they can't do without me. Fang Hao smoked a cigarette, and his emotions quickly calmed down. Many strategies for dealing with the situation began to surface in his mind. Outside Tianyi Hospital, Qingyu arrived and waited for a while, then saw Su Ro coming out and getting into her car. She asked, Xiao Ro, why are you here? My daughter is being treated here, and I came to take care of her. Your husband? No, Fang Hao, isn't he a capable doctor? He can even treat my aunt's legs. Can't he treat his own daughter? Is the condition for your divorce really to have one child each and then not have any contact? Su Ro sighed and didn't answer directly. Instead, she looked at the street lights ahead, brightness now, darkness in the distance. This was just like her life, stepping into darkness step by step. She said, the matter of my divorce with Fang Hao has come to an end. He won't forgive me, and he won't forgive you either. So, don't go looking for him. Otherwise, it will only evoke unhappy memories for him, and he will hate you. It might even affect his treatment of your aunt. You'll be in trouble. Qingyu nodded and said, yes, my aunt doesn't trust me anymore. Someone is watching me. As long as I get close to Fang Hao, I will be warned. Upon hearing this, Su Ro inexplicably breathed a sigh of relief. Qingyu was very beautiful, and her ex-husband was very handsome. If her best friend and ex-husband got together, it wouldn't be good for her. Her ex-husband was still hers, and she couldn't let him go to her best friend. She said, put these things aside for now. Oh, do you know about the relationship between Yang Wenjin and Ling Tian? Qingyu paused and asked, are you concerned about this, suspecting that Ling Tian and Yang Wenjin are having an affair? Is this his recent play? Does he even have the ability for this? Fang Hao told me. He said Yang Wenjin is Ling Tian's woman. Yang Wenjin suppressing Fang Hao is not entirely because of my parents and me, but because Ling Tian instructed her. I never knew that Ling Tian still had influence at Provincial People's Hospital and directly influenced Yang Wenjin. Do you know about the relationship between Yang Wenjin and Ling Tian? Why didn't you tell me in advance? I'm not entirely sure either. I was also suspicious at the time, but you know, Ling Tian let me enter the School of Political Science and Law, and he avoided suspicion with me. I also didn't care about his affairs. Besides, he and Yang Wenjin have been old classmates for so many years. If something really happened, wouldn't it be normal? After all, he's so outstanding. What about Su Jie? I only heard that he had transactions with Su Jie. He sold several paintings to Su Jie, totaling several billion. Wait, is Su Jie also related to Ling Tian? Fang Hao told me, and I think it makes sense. Fang Hao again? Is he telling you all this because he wants you to reconcile with him? It seems he still can't forget about you and really wants you back. Oh, I'm curious, how does he know all this? Fang Hao is not convinced. He was investigating me and Ling Tian. He said he wanted to make us have a bad ending. I'm worried he might act recklessly and end up getting seriously hurt. Ah, your ex-husband is indeed a rough character. It doesn't seem to match his profession and demeanor. People say that a dog that barks doesn't bite. Maybe your ex-husband is just like that. Ex-husband. Su Ro frowned. That outstanding man who loved her so much had become her ex-husband. She was the one who forced him out of her life. She said, don't speak ill of Fang Hao like that. He's just a very smart doctor, leading a simple life without our complications. Oh, can he really make your aunt's legs work again? Fang Hao says he can. My aunt, my third uncle, and everyone else believe in him. She has left Moon Bay and is now staying at Provincial People's Hospital, with Fang Hao as her attending physician. From what I've heard, Fang Hao's treatment is very effective. He truly is an amazing doctor. Do you know where he learned his medical skills? He studied very hard, and he's intelligent. No matter how challenging the case, he can see through the symptoms and find ways to treat both the symptoms and the root cause. Su Rou's heart trembled. Could it be that Fang Hao was the only one who could help Yue Xia? But Fang Hao knew that Yue Xia wasn't his biological child, as she was the child of Ling Tian. How could Fang Hao possibly save Yue Xia? No, there must be other doctors in the world, perhaps even more capable than Fang Hao. With her thoughts in disarray, Su Rou returned to the ward to continue watching over her daughter. At this moment, Ling Tian entered. He tried to embrace Su Rou, but she pushed him away, saying, "What's wrong? I just went to see my son." Su Rou turned around, looking directly at Ling Tian. Ling Tian's brows furrowed, and his expression clearly showed displeasure. He asked, "And then?" "I also met my ex-husband. We did it." Su Rou said this, keeping her eyes fixed on Ling Tian, not missing any change in his expression. "You?" Ling Tian's pupils contracted, and his eyes noticeably bulged with anger. The muscles on his face twitched, showing that he was grinding his teeth. But when he opened his mouth, he said, "How did it feel to do it with your ex-husband? Was it enjoyable? You're making my blood boil right now. I want you. Let's start right here. With Little Turtle leading the way, I'm sure I'll feel clear-headed and refreshed. I like it. I really like it now. Hurry, give it to me. Get lost." Su Rou pushed away Ling Tian, who was trying to pounce on her, and said, "Go find Yang Wenjin. You like your old classmate so much, go reminisce with her. You know quite a bit. Feeling jealous? So, you go find your ex-husband, and you're making me find my old classmate. Are you trying to provoke me, Su? You really have a sharp tongue but a tender heart." Ling Tian rushed forward, hugging Su Rou. He noticed that Su Rou struggled a few times but didn't resist anymore. He knew she was going to yield to him again. It was the same every time, especially when her hand reached over. Thinking that he was about to enjoy some service, he suddenly felt Su Rou exerting force. She pushed him onto the sofa. Feeling weak, he lay down on the sofa. Gasping for breath, he said, Su, do you like being in control? Then come on. Get lost. You can't even handle it, yet you still mess around. You just make me uncomfortable." Su Rou felt a sense of melancholy in her heart. If only Ling Tian had Fang Hao's scale and ability, how good that would be. Chapter 277, The Cost of Zhang Jun. In the dead of night, Fang Hao's phone rang, and seeing that it was Zhang Jun's number, he asked, "Zhanggu, it's so late, haven't you slept? What's up? Are you Fang Hao?" However, a sweet and youthful female voice came from the other end, not Zhang Jun's voice, nor was it artificial. "I am Fang Hao, are you the younger sister-in-law?" Fang Hao realized that this might be another lover of Zhang Jun. A man with 500 houses, wealthy but childless, prepared some fertile land for the sake of descendants. At the same time, whenever there was an opportunity, he would seize it. Younger sister-in-law? Well, sort of. Zhanggu just came back from the toilet, said he was urinating blood, asked me to call you quickly. He's unconscious now, what should I do? Call an ambulance, then take Zhanggu to the hospital. I'll wait for him somewhere. Hurry. I can't go with him. I can't let people know about our relationship. Can you come over right away? I'll send you my location on WeChat. Send it first, let me see if it's far from my place. We can't waste time. Fang Hao looked at his phone, and soon he received the location. It wasn't far, even if the other person called for an ambulance, he could arrive almost at the same time. He said, "Okay, I'm coming over right away." Zhanggu is unconscious, will he be able to make it through? Don't panic first. Lay him flat and ensure clear breathing. Fang Hao got up, carrying his sleeping son and a medicine box, and left directly. Watching his son drowsily for a while in the car, falling asleep again quickly, Fang Hao felt a pang of heartache. Leaving his son alone at home made him very uneasy. If he called his parents, he couldn't hide his affair with Su Rou and would only make his parents worry. He could only endure it for now. He quickly arrived at the location and found it was a large-scale development by Hengda Group, upscale and high-end. He suddenly remembered that Lu Jing had mentioned that Zhang Jun had 2 apartments here. At that time, he thought it was a bit far from the hospital, and the housing prices were high, so he declined. Following the hint from the younger sister-in-law, he arrived at Building 8, Apartment 808. The door was unlocked, and he pushed it open directly. Inside, he found a spacious flat with a large living room, separated into a Chinese and Western style, featuring a conspicuous and imposing wine cabinet. The room exuded the aroma of wine, champagne, and cream cake. Fang Hao, with a sharp nose, also caught a faint scent of hormones mixed in. The living room was also a battlefield. Zhanggu, you're quite something. Standing at the bedroom door was a young woman in a pink long-sleeved nightgown, with long hair falling loosely on her shoulders. She had a pretty face, though not as attractive as Lu Jing or Akin. She wasn't very tall, and her figure wasn't top-notch. From the unnatural state of her eyes, it was apparent that she was wearing contact lenses. She should be around 28 years old. Shouldn't Zhanggu find a tall and beautiful mother for his offspring? Why choose someone with an average appearance? Hello, I'm Fang Hao, Zhang Ji's attending physician. Where is he? Fang Hao nodded slightly, quickly inquiring. In the room. The young woman was slightly stunned. She hadn't expected Fang Hao to be so young and handsome. She thought the doctor who could perform surgery on Zhang Jun would at least be a top-notch and renowned expert with over 10 years of experience, likely middle-aged or older. Yet, Fang Hao, who arrived, was even younger than her. Now was not the time for doubt and questioning. Zhang Jun needed urgent treatment. After entering, Fang Hao first examined Zhang Jun's pupils, breathing, neck pulse, and heartbeat. He then checked his pulse and said, Zhanggu is indeed in a coma, and the situation is not optimistic. We must quickly take him to the hospital. At the same time, notify Director Liu and other family members to come to the hospital and get their consent for the next rescue steps. The young woman was shocked and asked, is it that serious? Yes. I talked to Zhanggu before and told him that the red line signaling a warning from the body is when there is blood in the urine. Now that the red line has appeared, we have to take it seriously. Will Zhanggu not make it through? He will. But we need to take him to the hospital promptly for further examination and treatment. Having assessed Zhang Jun through pulse diagnosis, Fang Hao had a clear idea. He asked the young woman to help change Zhang Jun into clean pants while he went outside to call Lu Jing and inform her of the situation. After some turmoil, Zhang Jun was taken to the hospital, and Lu Jing and Zhang's parents had come early. Why did you bring the child? Lu Jing asked because Fang Hao was holding the sleeping Tian. Now, it's just my son and me living together. I don't feel at ease leaving him alone at home. I'll settle him first, then I'll go over. Fang Hao took his son to the temporary rest room in the hospital, where the boy could sleep. There happened to be a familiar nurse, so he asked her to keep an eye on him. Then he rushed to Zhang Jun's ward. Not long after, Fang Hao saw various x-rays of Zhang Jun. Combining them with the pulse diagnosis from before, he made corresponding judgments about Zhang Jun's condition. Zhang Jun's kidneys were having problems and needed to be replaced. The immediate issue was finding a suitable donor for the transplant. Another more practical concern was that Zhang Jun would basically lose his fertility in the future, destined to be childless despite his wealth. When Fang Hao stated this conclusion, Zhang's father's expression visibly darkened, aging significantly. Zhang's mother couldn't help shedding tears. Lu Jing remained much calmer, expressing that saving a life was the most important, and in the face of life, all other issues were trivial. Fang Hao, as an outsider, had no authority to get involved beyond treating Zhang Jun. Once Zhang Jun's condition stabilized, and seeing that Lu Jing didn't want to talk, he left with his son. The next day, just as Fang Hao had dropped off his son at the kindergarten, he received a call from Akin's younger sister, who happened to be nearby. Fang Hao went to her car and saw her looking weary and anxious. He said, "You don't need to worry. Zhanggu is not in mortal danger this time. Fang Hao, don't lie to me. Tell me the truth. I drove all night from another city and didn't go to see Zhanggu first. Instead, I came to you. I just want to know Zhang Ji's real situation. If you try to deceive me again, it's not fair." "Oh, what I said is true. Zhanggu won't be in mortal danger. The treatment he needs is a kidney transplant. I checked online last night and found a suitable one. It can be used as a reference. The transplant surgery is not difficult, with a success rate of over 95%. What else do you want to know? Zhang Ji's future life, especially in that aspect? To be honest, 2 years ago, Zhanggu was barely at a normal level in that regard. After you treated him, there was barely a ripple. This time, with another surgery, his vitality will be greatly damaged. Will he still be capable? I'm not afraid to say this to you, you know my situation. Zhanggu and I have a relationship, not the undying kind, but a lot of it is based on interests. He needs me, the younger me, to do things for him and bear children. Once he feels he can't do it anymore, what's my value? Younger sister, if that's your situation, you can think of an exit. What I can help you with is a discreet little procedure. In the future, your partners won't suspect that you've had a man before, as long as you don't reveal it. Zhang Ge is a jealous person. Even if I lose my value in that aspect, he won't easily let me go. Unless I leave his company and no longer be his person. Then take advantage of Zhang Ji's current condition. He will let you temporarily take over the company. You can make an investment and earn a lot. Fang Hao took out a document from his backpack, a stock market analysis of Tianji Extreme. Seeing the excited expression of Akin's younger sister as she flipped through it, Fang Hao knew she was the person he was looking for to fire the first shot, in the revenge against Sing Lintian. Chapter 278, Imperfections in Life. In the hospital, Zhang Jun woke up. He asked the nurses, Lu Jing, and his parents to leave, leaving only Fang Hao. Weakly, he said, "Brother, I regret not listening to your advice. I was too hasty. I want a child so badly now. I have everything, but I lack a child." Fang Hao sighed, saying, "Zhang Ge, I'm not good at urology, and I'm not omnipotent. I can only do my best to sustain your life." Zhang Jun said, "I'm grateful that you saved my life, I can't ask for more. It's my greed, pursuing perfection. Tell me, what will happen to me?" Fang Hao said, "You need a kidney transplant, and the price you'll pay is infertility. If the cancer remains stable and doesn't spread, you can return to normal life and work, similar to before. Ah, it's destined to be this way, and I have to accept it. Let you perform my surgery, I trust only you. I will do my best." After some thought, Fang Hao added, "Zhang Ge, you don't have to despair entirely. In these past few days, Director Lu and the others might have been intimate with you. Perhaps there have already been successful outcomes. Give yourself some time and give them some time. That makes sense. In that case, I still have hope." Feeling spirited, Zhang Jun exclaimed, "Brother, we are really sworn brothers, sharing blessings and hardships." "Zhang Ge, you're exaggerating." After comforting Zhang Jun a bit more, Fang Hao left the room, letting Zhang's father and others chat with Zhang Jun. He went to the office to prepare a treatment plan. Before long, Zhang's father, Zhang Jing, came in, casually locking the door and holding a test bag. After glancing at Fang Hao, Zhang Jing said, "Fang Hao, you and Zhang Jun are really fated. You comforted him with a few words, more effective than his biological father. Because I am a doctor, and his emotional and social support has always been you." Fang Hao didn't dare to take credit. Zhang Jun listened to him because of his medical skills, which could save Zhang Jun's life. The man with 500 houses values his life. Zhang Jing nodded and said, "Fang Hao, I didn't misjudge you. I have a situation now and need a definite answer from you." "No problem. In these past few days, can those women really get pregnant with Zhang Jun?" Fang Hao fell silent, unable to avoid Zhang Jing's gaze. He said, "Considering Zhang's situation over the years, he hasn't succeeded. So relying on these last-minute efforts, the success rate is indeed very low." "How low is the probability?" 1 in 10,000. "But it's this 1 in 10,000, as long as that one happens, it will be a success." "No, I won't bet on this. What I want is 100% certainty." Zhang Jing extended his hand and said, "Fang Hao, give me a pulse." Fang Hao took the pulse, then said, "Director Zhang, you are very healthy." Zhang Jing nodded and handed the test bag's data to Fang Hao, saying, "Take a look at this." Fang Hao took a look. It was Zhang Jing's medical examination, very detailed and thoughtful. He said, "There is a bit of high blood pressure, but the data is not very high. Taking regular antihypertensive drugs can bring it down. Do I still have fertility?" "Theoretically, yes." Fang Hao was surprised. From Zhang Jing's pulse and the kidney function test data, everything was normal. In theory, Zhang Jing could still have children. He asked, "Director Zhang, if you wanted to have a child, why didn't you choose to have one over these years? Why wait until this age?" Zhang Jing said, "Because we believe in Jun. He can carry on the Zhang family line. My wife doesn't want to have more children, and I can't make her change her mind. I love my wife very much, and I haven't touched other women. But now, with Jun's fate, I'm unwilling to let this family business be abandoned. So, my wife and I discussed it, and I will pass on the family business. Fang Hao, I also need your professional medical knowledge to increase my chances of success." Fang Hao now fully understood the other party's intention. From Zhang Jing's perspective, Zhang Jun's account was useless, and Zhang Jing had to start over with a new account. This was human nature. He prescribed a prescription for Zhang Jing, who asked Fang Hao to keep it confidential and then left satisfied. Afterward, other relatives of the Zhang family also came to inquire about Zhang Jun's condition. They seemed kind, but Fang Hao didn't fully trust these people. He reported the good news but not the worries. At noon, Lu Jing placed a lunch box in front of Fang Hao and said, "This is made by family members. I'll get an extra portion for you." Fang Hao, looking at the delicious and exquisite meal, didn't hesitate. Seeing that Lu Jing didn't leave, he quickly finished eating and said, "Director, if you have something to say, feel free. Give me a pulse." "Sure." Fang Hao was a bit confused, but he somewhat understood Lu Jing's thoughts. She wanted to confirm whether she was pregnant. He took her pulse and then shook his head. "Ah, it seems destined that Zhang Ge and I won't have a perfect outcome. I can't accept my fate," sighed Lu Jing repeatedly. Fang Hao looked at the empty lunchbox in front of him and felt a bit like he had bitten off more than he could chew. After thinking for a moment, he said, "Director, perhaps none of our lives are perfect. However, we can make our lives perfect during this lifetime. Perhaps, this is also a kind of life's true meaning. I'm like this, how can I make it perfect? Zhang Ji's problem is Zhang Ji's, not yours. If you want, you can still achieve perfection. I'm not saying anything specific, but Zhang Ge might kill me for saying this. You indeed have the right and even the obligation to become a mother. Are you suggesting that I don't necessarily have to have a child with Lao Zhang?" "I didn't say anything. Director, I need to go to the bank, mortgage my house, and get a loan. I'll be leaving for a while." Fang Hao interrupted the topic and took off his white coat, pulled out a small bag from the drawer, checked it without any omissions, and was ready to leave. Lu Jing asked, "Why are you mortgaging your house?" "I'm investing in stocks, found a stock I like, and want to take a chance." "You're mortgaging your house to invest in stocks?" "Yes, and I also mortgaged my 70,000 yuan car." Are you crazy?" "Not crazy. This is a good opportunity. If successful, I'll double my money the day after tomorrow." Fang Hao grinned and added, "If I fail, I'll have steamed buns dipped in plain hot water." "You won't do something without certainty. If you want to be crazy, I'll support you once. Here is a card from Lao Zhang, with 20 million in it. Take it and go crazy. If you win, it's yours. If you lose, consider it borrowed from me. You have 10 or 20 years to pay it back." Director, this won't do." Fang Hao was stunned. Was Lu Jing testing him? "Since you're afraid of losing, why did you mortgage your house? If it's a sure win, why not seize the opportunity to earn more? Okay, if I win, we'll split the profits evenly. If I lose, consider it borrowed from you, and I'll need 10 or 20 years to repay." Fang Hao wasn't polite either. Right now, he wanted more capital so that he could mess with Xingling Tian's Tianji pharmaceutical stock. He went to the bank, quickly handled the business, and also informed Akin's sister-in-law. If he wanted to successfully mess with Xingling Tian, they needed to advance and retreat together. As he left the bank, he didn't expect to run into Qingyu. "This annoying person is like a bad penny, I'm sure I won't have good luck running into her." Fang Hao shivered and quickly sent a message to Akin's sister-in-law, postponing the purchase. He didn't rush to buy now, it would be better to let the money lie in the account for a while. In the years to come, whenever he thought of today's impromptu decision, he felt incredibly lucky. Chapter 279, Love Arises Amidst Conflict? "Aunt Biao, you can't go over there." Li Jun appeared in time, blocking Qingyu and preventing her from getting close to Fang Hao. When he saw Fang Hao get in the car, he quickly followed. What was Fang Hao doing at the bank? Qingyu entered the bank lobby, where a very beautiful middle-aged woman was waiting for her. She followed the woman into the office area and arrived at the office with the sign of the deputy director. This middle-aged woman was indeed the deputy director. Qingyu asked directly, "Did you notice the handsome guy working in the lobby just now?" "Hate it. I just set my eyes on him." "You're not interested in him too, are you? Take it. His name is Fang Hao, seems to be a doctor." The deputy director scolded Qingyu, but she opened the bank program on her phone, showing the information about Fang Hao's account that he had just opened. She did notice Fang Hao, but she didn't immediately approach him, especially in public. She remembered the business number Fang Hao handled and used her authority to access Fang Hao's user profile. She planned to contact Fang Hao afterwards, arrange a private meeting, and let things develop naturally. "I certainly know who he is. He's the doctor I complained about to you. He's treating my aunt. I came here to open a private account for him and provide him with medical fees." Wait, he has so much money? Over 20 million? How is that possible? Qingyu was shocked when she saw Fang Hao's savings balance. She wondered if Fang Hao divorced because he got rich. Do men want something new when they have money? Does Su Rou know that Fang Hao has so much money? He opened a stock account, so he naturally came to speculate in stocks. He even mortgaged his house and car. It's clear that he's taking a gamble. He's a doctor, probably not knowledgeable in finance. Someone is likely guiding him. Ching, I'll give you some advice, ensuring you can win him over. What advice? You work in public security, investigate his source of income. Qingyu's eyes lit up. Love can arise amidst conflict. Pfft. Damn, that woman is thinking about me again. Fang Hao sneezed in the car. His ancestors said that sneezing makes your ears warm, but it's just a superstition. The actual reason was that he worked hard all night and didn't rest well, catching a cold. He needed to drink a pack of Zaichehu decoction or just drink more warm water. He returned to the hospital and found Huang Yidao waiting for him. Huang Yidao said, Director Huang, do you need something? Huang Yidao said, yes, 2 things. First, Mr. Zhang's condition improved after transferring to another hospital, and he and his wife are thankful to you. Of course, I'm just conveying their verbal gratitude over the phone. They'll personally invite you for a meal after their discharge to express deeper gratitude. I'm a doctor doing my job, and the hospital pays me a salary. You can tell them not to be polite. What's the second thing? Fang Hao felt a bit pleased with himself. Huang Yidao continued, I have a small request. I want to be your assistant for Zhang Jun's surgery. I'm currently working on a paper about kidney transplantation, but I've hit a bottleneck and can't find inspiration. Your surgical skills are finer than mine. No problem. The surgery needs to be done in your surgical department, that's your territory. You have the final say. No, Director Fang, you have the final say. Damn, my temporary director title is gone, why are you still bringing this up? Fang Hao was a bit speechless. Some people in the hospital still called him director, which made him uncomfortable. He was just a senior attending physician in the outpatient department. If it weren't for Lu Jing using him, he wouldn't be anything special. Then, Director Fang? Pfft. Fang Hao sprayed water when he heard Huang Yidao call him Director Fang. He said, aren't you afraid Yang Wenjin will hear you? She might kill me immediately. Haha, Director Fang, this title will be yours sooner or later. Huang Yidao took out a box of Zhonghua cigarettes, lit one, and then pushed the whole pack in front of Fang Hao. He lit it and said, this is Director Lu's office. Isn't it inappropriate? No problem. Don't treat Director Lu as a leader, treat her as a buddy. It's just you. I'm not that close to Lu Jing. Fang Hao knew that Lu Jing had a good reputation and got along well with every old classmate. After all, she was a beautiful woman. He whispered, when will the big shot arrive? Did you become the vanguard? Do you know? The specific date is unclear, either before or after the new year. Isn't that obvious? You pay attention to the news. When the capital holds a meeting, it should be about the same time. Director Fang, I have high hopes for you. Why? Fang Hao felt that Huang Yidao also wanted to push him onto the big stage. Because you are a pure doctor. Huang Yidao saw Lu Jing coming in and quickly extinguished the cigarette butt, throwing it into the trash can. He said, Fang Hao invited me to smoke, and I couldn't resist. Just like that. Huang Yidao, you sly guy. Why is Huang Yidao so afraid of Lu Jing, like a mouse encountering a cat? What are you guys up to? Fang Hao noticed that Huang Yidao left, and there was still a pack of cigarettes in front of him. He said, Director, this isn't my cigarette, do you believe me? I believe you, you smoke 5 yuan ones. Lu Jing took out a cheap pack of cigarettes from her pocket, the kind Fang Hao smoked, and handed it to him, saying, smoke less, it says on top that it's harmful to health. What Huang Yidao said wasn't right, Lu Jing is more suitable to be a caring older sister. Fang Hao accepted the cigarettes. Now, he's under a lot of pressure, and smoking has become more frequent. A single man can't live without cigarettes. In the evening, after checking on the house again, everything was under his control, so he left work. He went to the kindergarten but didn't see his son. After asking the teacher, he learned that his son had been taken away by Su Rou for 2 hours. Su Rou, what is she up to? Fang Hao reminded the kindergarten principal and teachers that only he could pick up the child. Anyone else had to call him first and get his permission. He called Su Rou, and when she answered, he said, Su Rou, without my consent, you took our son. What exactly are you trying to do? I just missed our son, and my parents missed him too. He's at my parents' house. Come and take him. Fang Hao saw his wife hang up after saying this, not giving him a chance to scold her. He called the kindergarten principal and teachers to remind them once more. Only he could pick up the child, and anyone else needed to call him and get his approval. When he arrived at Su Buiyuan's villa, the housekeeper brought his son out. He didn't go inside. When he left, he glanced at the villa and saw Zhou Fen standing on the balcony on the second floor, silently watching him. She looked lonely. Ah? Fang Hao sighed inwardly. Seeing his son so happy, he felt more accepting. Su Ro was, after all, his son's mother, a fact he couldn't deny. He asked Su Ro what she had done after taking their son away. His son talked endlessly about several places, including the newly developed neighborhood of Hengda group they visited last night. Su Ro retraced the route he had taken these days. Was she following me? What does she want to do? Fang Hao's heart trembled, and then a shocking thought crossed his mind. Remarriage? Chapter 280, You're going down a dangerous path. Daddy, Mommy said she and Jia Jia will come back in a few days. How many days is a few days? The son asked with a childish voice, breaking the silence in the car. Come back? She still wants to come back? She treats divorce as a game. Fang Hao replied, in a few days means many days. When you and Daddy are this tall, that's when Mommy and Jia Jia will come back. Daddy, but Mommy said in a few days, meaning very soon. Your Mommy is wrong. Your Mommy likes the new Daddy. She wants to be with the new Daddy and won't come back. I don't like the new Daddy. I don't want Mommy to be with the new Daddy. Daddy, what can I do to grow taller quickly? Be obedient, eat more, eat vegetables, don't be picky, and get enough sleep. Fang Hao comforted his son, feeling a hidden worry. His ex-wife's frequent contact with their son must have ulterior motives. She wants to use their son's relationship to achieve the goal of remarriage. Too bad, now I only have hatred for you, not love. The next day, Fang Hao went to the hospital. He routinely examined the patients in the special outpatient and inpatient departments. The pregnant woman from the leader's family was doing well. His treatment had reduced the size of the lesion, and she could undergo minimally invasive surgery in about 3 to 5 days. Mrs. Chung regained sensation in her legs, and she was more confident about standing up. Zhang Jun's kidney source was still being chosen. He found a suitable source for transplantation, but he wasn't satisfied with the donor's identity because it was an executed death row inmate. With his financial resources and the connections of the Zhang family, it was only a matter of time before they found a more outstanding kidney source. At 10 in the morning, a patient with myasthenia gravis, a middle-aged man in his 30s who was a physical education teacher, was admitted. Fang Hao couldn't cure this disease, but his balance theory therapy could buy time for the physical education teacher. It allowed him to engage in non-weight-bearing activities and maintain a simple daily life. At noon, Lu Jing invited Fang Hao to a hotel in the city center, and the treat was from Jianghua. Jianghua treated Fang Hao not only because Fang Hao had helped him diagnose a young patient with periodic neurologic syndrome, but also because Fang Hao's subsequent paper had elevated Jianghua's academic status. This paper had been published as a collaboration, and it had been accepted by a top medical journal overseas, significantly increasing its impact factor. During the meal, Fang Hao received a message from Sister Qin, saying that the purchased stocks had risen significantly, and it was a substantial increase. Fang Hao replied that if it could double, he would sell all of it. Sister Qin was a bit puzzled, she sensed that it could double. Fang Hao didn't explain anything. The kind of inspiration he had was inexplicable. Making a double profit and running away was the safest. If Sister Qin's several hundred million belonged to him, he would choose to confront Zheng Lingtian and make sure that Zheng Lingtian's pharmaceutical stocks became junk stocks. However, he had too little money on hand, and he couldn't afford to toss a few waves. Back at the hospital, Fang Hao stared at the stock market for a while. When he saw that Tianziji had indeed doubled, he chose to sell. After deducting the handling fee, he also made a significant profit. Less than an hour after he sold, Tianziji began to dive significantly. No long after, the younger sister-in-law called, pouring out her bitterness. She wanted to earn more, thinking it could double, but the highest point was exactly what Fang Hao estimated, and she sensed that something was wrong. She tried to sell as much as possible, but in the end, she only made less than 30 million. She regretted missing the opportunity to earn a few billion. Fang Hao, looking at the stock market chart, had a sudden idea. He called Sister Qin and said, I have an idea. Can you entrust these hundreds of millions to me for operation? Sister Qin asked, you mean, there's still a chance for Tianziji, and if they find out I didn't get any good stocks, and I didn't get caught, they will definitely continue to manipulate the market, waiting for me to come in? Fang Hao, you are really Brother Zhang's right-hand man. That's exactly what I mean. Fang Hao praised her and then Sister Qin gave him the trading account and password. Before the trading deadline, Fang Hao used all his tens of millions to buy Tianziji. Sister Qin's money also bought the same amount. Before leaving work, Fang Hao found that the legal representative of Tianziji, Yue Xia Huo, had published an article saying that Tianziji would vigorously promote public welfare. He sensed that Tianziji was manipulating the market again. The next day, as soon as the market opened, Tianziji's stock did start to rise. Without saying a word, Fang Hao invested more funds and continued to buy. After finishing his rounds and treatments, he found that Tianziji was still rising, but the increase was not significant. I'm waiting for my big fish. Fang Hao was very clear. He bought a little more. In the next few days, Fang Hao bought a little every day. When he invested all the money, Yue Xia Huo of Tianziji came out again to promote nationwide healthcare. Closing the net. Fang Hao chose to sell everything directly on the rising slope. After settling, his original tens of millions doubled. Sister Qin's several billion was bought in stages, and the profits were different, but in the end, she also made 2 billion. In the hospital room, Zhang Jun was in high spirits, looking at Fang Hao, saying, I didn't expect, little brother, you're good at stocks. I'll give you all the money you earned. This way, you'll have enough money to buy a house at Tianzhaifeng. Fang Hao earned him 2 billion, and he wanted to give it all to Fang Hao. Brother Zhang, I can't accept your money. If you must give it to me, just give me 60 million. This way, I can just have enough to buy a house. Fang Hao's money continued to double, deducting the cost of Lu Jing, and the half he promised to Lu Jing. He had about 40 million left. Money makes money, it's truly the fastest way to earn wealth. Fang Hao sighed. Using a large capital to speculate on stocks, the speed of wealth doubling was truly terrifying. I said I'll give it all to you, so I'll give it all to you. Zhang Jun was happy, but also a bit worried. He said, Tianziji is Xinglingtian's stock. Be careful when snatching food from a tiger's mouth. You must be careful. We follow market rules, no theft, no robbery. What can he say? He shouldn't be unable to afford to lose. During this time, I won't be trading stocks anymore. It just happens that your kidney source is confirmed. I'll give you a kidney transplant first. You can't delay it anymore. Fang Hao examined Zhang Jun and found signs of edema. Little brother, you are really pure. When I earned a few million back then, I almost laughed my face off, but you are still calm and steady. You are amazing. Brother, I'm happy too. I can't see any changes. Maybe I was used to being poor before, so poor that my face was numb. Now that I have money, I can't be happy. Fang Hao said indifferently. After finishing the treatment, he went home to pick up his son. When he returned home, he found his ex-wife was at his house. He was very unhappy and restrained himself from exploding in front of his son. After his son went back to his room, Fang Hao directly vented his anger, saying, Su Ro, this is my home. Without my permission, what are you doing here? Next time, I'll call the police. Su Ro frowned, feeling the estrangement. She said, I came to tell you not to play with fire anymore. If you continue like this, you will be in great danger.